Hi Jess, you looking for some food? I gave you your dinner this morning, didn't I? You should be okay. Today's an absolutely glorious day. This is what Ireland looks like when the sun is shining. Just look at those daffodils. They're just ready to explode. Next week we'll have a sea of yellow here, hopefully. I love this time of year. After the very bad weather we had last month, on the 12th of February we had a most awful storm. Did a lot of harm to trees and plants around the place, but luckily our house was fine. It was a code red, an amber alert. Just showing you those daffodils there on the bank. Those were brought back by my son from Amsterdam. They're miniature daffodils, and I think we planted them 10, 12 years ago now. They still pop up every year. I'll show them to you when they're in full bloom. But to get back to the 12th of February, luckily that big monkey puzzle there is still standing. Just look at the height of it. We were afraid. Now it's very near the house. Could do a lot of harm if it fell, but they're such a rarity. It would be terrible if anything happened to it. This one here fell, it's all cut up. It's a weeping ash, and when we put up the fence around our garden perimeter, the fence went right through the middle of it. So that's exactly where it's been cut up now and used for firewood. It fell in across here on our lawn, but didn't do any harm, thank goodness. But these trees, these ones are special. Look at those trees. They're beech trees and chestnut trees, and they're over 200 years old. It would be awful to see anything happen to those giants. They've been here before I was, and they will be here long after me. They're very, very special. And here's the bark now of the monkey puzzle. It looks good, and it looks solid in the ground. What happened with many of the trees was that the ground was so soft, when the tree began to move in the wind, it just kind of bent over at the roots, and the roots just came up. If those trees fell, I'm afraid that would be the end of our house. Of them, they've been here long before I was, and they will be here long after me. That is why they're so precious, and we must leave them alone. Just let them stand tall, majestic. This lantern survived, luckily enough, but its partner down here got hit by a branch and is now gone. Have to be replaced, or maybe not. We'll see how things go. A lot of damage done. These trees, even though they are so beautiful, when the wind rocks them, they're quite dangerous. Now, that's where our lamp was standing, our lantern. Nothing left now, only the glass ball. Birds singing. Today is like a summer's day here. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's a little nip in the air, but at the same time it's beautifully warm. Now these two mini piers held up well, but this lantern was knocked off again by a branch, but we've had an electrician fitted back on again. It's here down our avenue that most of the damage was done. Round about 1:30 p.m. my husband and myself and granddaughter came in. We had collected her at her creche, and we'd heard about the amber alert and the red alert, and that the storm was going to hit about 2 p.m. So as we were coming in along we could see some of those big tall trees there bending over this direction, over to the east, from west to east. And we thought they'd never move. They've been here now 40 maybe more years, and they're quite solid and very, very tall. But we were wrong. We stayed indoors. Between 2 and 4 the storm raged, doors rattling, wind was really, really strong. That's the first tree now, you'll notice, has been gone, it's been cut. This one here, just a bit of the bark remains, just some bark remains. They've all been cut where they broke off. And down here near our gate is where the biggest damage occurred. In total we lost 10 to 12 trees. Now they're not the big 200-year-old trees, but still they're 40, 50-year-old trees. This one here, all of these trees were lying across, one after another, right, lying across our entrance. So much so that we could not go out. We had to go out a farm entrance, a different way that we haven't used for years. But you can see there where they've been cut up, cut back, and there's a big gap now. Lot of wood down. Now over here there's a huge hole, because over here we had a very large tree, a really old tree, and when it came up it actually lifted up the ground with it. So there was a big crater right down there where I am now, about 4 foot deep, and you could see the roots of the tree, and that's all that's left of the tree now. You can see it in the middle of the field. It's been cut up again, and that tree did the most damage. It disturbed the piers of the gate, and it disturbed the gate, but luckily enough everything has been put back the way it was. New cement, fresh cement down here. And Jess down again. Hi Jess, come down for a look. Yeah? You remember those big trees? We don't want to see a storm like that ever again. It was the worst storm that Ireland, I think, has ever recorded. And luckily there was no loss of life because of the red alert. Everybody stayed indoors between the hours of 2 and 4:30. And then when everyone came out and saw all the damaged trees down everywhere, people could not get home from work, roads blocked, but they were quickly cut up and moved, and everybody was safe and sound again. And just look at today. What a glorious day, Jess. Sun shining. We've been given one very good week of reasonable temperatures. Now there is still a chill in the air, but good dry weather, which is absolutely amazing and something that we love, because here in Ireland it seems to rain more often than it's dry. Have a good scratch for yourself there, kitty cat. Yeah, that nice? Hear the birds singing. You'd love to chase some of those, wouldn't you? Yeah? Hear the birds? Listen. Yeah. Isn't that a lovely sound? Well, Jess. Nature is an amazing thing when you think about it. The cycle goes on regardless of weather conditions. Birds sing, trees grow, life goes on. And we're so lucky to be surrounded by nature. So lucky to have fresh air. So lucky to have these wondrous trees up here, which I would hate if anything happened to, because they were here before me and they will be here long after me. There we go again. Tall, majestic soldiers standing tall, standing straight. This place is theirs as much as it's ours. We share it together. Soon the leaves will be out and the growth will start again. Just listen to those birds. Making nests, building for the future. The future is ours. The future belongs to these trees and it belongs to us. We will grow together.